Amos 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
So the Lord ministered to me early in the morning and said, the people will choose Antonio Costa. I'm talking about right now, Portugal, elections.
Antonio Costa has secured a new mandate as Prime Minister of Portugal after a sweeping victory in the country's parliamentary elections.
It was really a surprise. I think even for Antonio Costa was a surprise. The leader of the Social Party was not expecting all the opinion polls were saying in the last few days that he would never have the majority.
On the 30th of January, 2022, at about 11 a.m. GMT, in a live service broadcast across the Good News World TV networks, Prophet Hubert Angel boldly and emphatically declared the word of the Lord concerning the outcome of the 2022 Portuguese general elections. He boldly declared that God's choice was Rui Rio, but the people would instead choose Antonio Costa. Notice how on the 31st of January at 1 a.m. GMT, the Socialist Party, led by Antonio Costa, was confirmed to have won an outright parliamentary majority, which came as a huge surprise, as the polls indicated they had lost their advantage.
I want to pray for Portugal. So when God starts giving us prophecies about these countries, he's not doing it because we are too big, but because there are people affected by the things we speak. When God says out to do something, sometimes God says, this is my desire, this is my will, this is what I want, and this is what the people will choose. So the Lord ministered to me early in the morning and said, I choose Rui Rio, but the people will choose Antonio Costa. I'm talking about right now, Portugal, elections. Hear this now. So you have something people will choose, and you have something God likes to choose. Imagine the difference. Where God says, this is what is going to happen, but this is what I want. So you have a lot of things that begin to take place where the Spirit of the Lord said, if this one enters, it is not the will. So you have a whole lot of things that you can choose. You can choose as a nation, we're going to choose this one, and God says, but my choice is that one. So sometimes God's decision will not stand. I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospers. Yet many Christians are not in health. They are still sick. Yet the desire of God is for them to prosper. So it doesn't mean to say God's desire always happens. So God can say, I'm choosing this one, but the people are choosing that one. Doesn't mean to say it will always go with God. So many things have gone wrong with Christianity, where people think it is God who does things. That tells us God is not just out there and we are robots working on God, but there is a time when you try to circumvent God's agenda for the end time, and no matter how you vote, God's choice will stand in that moment. But when elections like these ones don't have anything to do with what will happen in the end time, God will leave you with your choice, and then you suffer on your own. So this is Portugal now. There's a plan of God, then there's a plan of man.
Notice how this was not only a surprise win that not even the Socialist Party itself expected to win, but it was also an unexpected parliamentary majority that Antonio Costa himself had acknowledged that he could not get. But yet, going against everyone's expectations, the prophet was so confident in declaring that Antonio Costa would win despite not being God's choice.
So the Lord ministered to me early in the morning and said, the people will choose Antonio Costa. I'm talking about right now, Portugal, elections.
Antonio Costa has secured a new mandate as Prime Minister of Portugal after a sweeping victory in the country's parliamentary elections.
It was really a surprise. I think even for António Costa was a surprise. The leader of the Social Party was not expecting all the opinion polls were saying in the last few days that he would never have the majority.
Hubert Angel, more up to date than tomorrow's newspaper.